For the upcoming Path of Exile 3.12 Heist expansion, Grinding Gear Games is looking to expand the repertoire of utility skills available to the players. Today we're looking at Void Sphere, Frost Shield, Sigil of Power, and Flame Wall. Hello guys, and welcome to another video. My name is CatmasterOP and I stream every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday afternoon 4:20 Central European Time. If you have any questions about builds, videos, Path of Exile or life in general, make sure to tune in and say hi. Path of Exile 3.12 Heist League is going to be released on the 18th of September for PC, and alongside a very promising new minigame mechanic will also feature tons of new build options provided by the rewards we can get from Heist. The specific Heist rewards include new alternate quality bonus gems, which are variants of existing skill and support gems that don't gain the same bonus from quality as they usually would, but new interesting effects instead, some of which are crazy powerful and build enabling. In the same spirit, the replica copies of existing unique items made available through Heist are very similar to the originals, but with a twist on one or two defining properties which make them completely unsuitable for their already established use cases, but open up a lot of possibilities for build makers to become creative. If you're interested in hearing more about the alternate quality gems or the replica uniques as we see more and more of them in teasers, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications so you see my content on them as soon as it becomes available. Next to these interesting additions, Grinding Gear Games designed new utility skills to allow for even more build customization. Even after the introduction of the additional skill bar slots we can access via the control key, the pressure on skill slots and gem sockets is higher than ever before, so new utility skills have to be very unique and valuable in order to compete for the limited build space available. Today I'm going to showcase 4 new utility skills that specialize in area control called Void Sphere, Frost Shield, Sigil of Power, and Flame Wall. Void Sphere creates a pulsing sphere that deals a mix of physical and chaos damage while pulling non-unique enemies towards the center of its large radius. It also hinders enemies and sucks up their corpses if they die within its area of effect. It does have a rather long cooldown and is limited to only one sphere at a time, similar to how Orb of Storms allows for only one orb at a time. We will have to see the damage numbers in order to evaluate the offensive capabilities of Void Sphere, but even without taking the damage into consideration, it's looking to be a very powerful utility skill in terms of both crowd control and corpse removal. Hindering enemies and grouping them up allows for safe and efficient pack clear, while the corpse removal prevents you from making yourself a target for on-death effects like porcupine spikes or corpse explosions from strongboxes, totems, or enemies casting Detonate Dead. It also looks incredibly cool, and black hole or vortex-like abilities have a history of being super powerful in any game that added them, so I'm very excited to get my hands on this particular one. Frost Shield creates a protecting dome for an energy shield cost that is drained from your character over 1 second. The shield has its own pool of hit points that scales with the energy shield cost. The more energy shield drained, the more powerful the bonus that the shield provides and the more resilient the shield. As long as you're inside the shield's dome, it protects from a small portion of damage from enemies inside the shield and from a large portion of the damage of outside enemies, while chilling all enemies close to or within the shield and providing added base critical strike chance to you. You may use support gems to lower the cooldown and modify the area of effect. Again, it's hard to completely judge the ability without knowing the exact numbers, but the premise of a shield skill that provides defensive and offensive benefits local to an area where you cast it sounds intriguing and will certainly enable new styles of play for positioning in boss fights. Depending on your build, you can make the area bigger to be able to benefit in more different positions, or choose to make the area smaller to make it more likely for enemies to remain outside of the shield while they pose a threat to you. Sigil of Power creates a circle on the ground. While you or allies are standing within the circle, it increases the mana cost of skills and provides flat added lightning damage. As your mana spending exceeds certain thresholds, the Sigil reaches higher stages, granting more additional lightning damage per stage, and at max stages makes enemies within its area deal less damage. It promises great synergy with Archmage builds, but the mana thresholds will also be reachable in non-Archmage setups. You may use support gems to modify the area, duration, and cooldown of the skill. This seems to be a really cool non-aura utility skill to buff your main skill with flat added lightning damage, similar to how Arcane Cloak does. With the nerfs to scaling mana costs via unique jewels and items last league, Archmage builds have taken a little bit of a hit. While they're still strong, even among the better build archetypes I would say, additions like the Sigil of Power will, depending on the numbers overall, possibly allow Archmage builds to return to godlike power levels next patch. Flame Wall creates an area of burning flame. Flame Wall applies a secondary burning effect to enemies passing through. It also adds flat fire damage to any projectiles fired through the wall and makes them apply the secondary burning effect as well. I am emphasizing any because it's not limited to your attack projectiles, but also applies to spell projectiles or even projectiles that your minions fire. You can have up to 3 walls active at the same time. While most people are hyped about the Black Hole skill, Flame Wall is my favorite thematically and mechanically. There's no mention of a cooldown, so maybe there isn't one at all, but if there is one, it's probably a very short one, as it was stated that you can have 3 walls active at the same time. Depending on the numbers, it may even be possible to build around Flame Wall as your main source of damage, but it's certain it will be very strong as an automated or self-cast utility spell in order to provide some extra damage and area control. It promises to have great synergy with Fireball Ignite builds, as they would both scale the dot and benefit from the flat added fire damage for bigger ignites at the same time. If the new Blazing Salvo skill turns out to be good to play on release, it should also be amazing with this. There was no specific mention of Frost Shield's cooldown. They did however emphasize that Second Wind will work well for all 3 of those skills to make them provide a second use, so that clearly implies that these skills will not be instant cast, but likely come with a short to medium cast time, as Second Wind would only provide a second use for non-instant skills. In conclusion, these 4 new area control skills that we've been teased with seem to be promising additions to an already rich roster of utility skills. The pressure on gem sockets and ability slots on the skill bar is certainly not getting lower next league, and unlocking the trigger socketed spells when you use a skillcraft via Jun Ortoi will be even more desirable than before. That does not necessarily mean these skills are not going to be used in a handcast way, but in today's meta, most players are trying to automate as many aspects of their builds as possible. Despite that, I'm very curious to see how these new area control skills will be used among build makers and players in the community. And I'm very much looking forward to getting my own hands on them in order to see how much I value them over other options. We shall see, and I will report back in another video if you want more. If you enjoyed the content and style of this video, make sure to let YouTube know by pressing the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure to tick the bell in order to activate notifications so you'll always be up to date when I release new content. If you want to go beyond supporting me on YouTube, definitely come visit my stream on twitch.tv/CatmasterOP, where you can see all the build making and playtesting, researching and theory crafting actions that goes into my YouTube content, and where we cultivate a respectful and fun community. For just a handful of bucks per month, you can subscribe to the stream on Twitch, which will grant you ad-free viewing as well as access to a set of subscriber emotes and a distinguished badge in chat to show off your support. You can also link an existing Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account to get access to Prime Gaming, which includes 1 free channel subscription per month, so you can support your favorite Twitch streamer at no additional cost to you. By supporting my Twitch stream, you'll not only help me in creating more content, but you'll also get a special look behind the scenes as I create new builds and check out content. But even if Twitch is not for you, You can support me with a small pledge on Patreon, which is a great way to support independent content creators like yours truly, outside of the pages that host the actual content. Creating videos, scripting scripts, recording footage, and editing it is very time consuming, and the more support I get, the more content I can make in the future, and the higher the quality of the videos will become. Imagine I could hire an actual editor instead of applying my own poor editing skills. A huge thank you goes out to my patrons. You rock. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next video.